Hello and welcome to Health Matters on Channels Television. Thanks for joining us. I am Mary Alale Yusuf. Direct tobacco use results in more than 7 million deaths every year, while approximately 1.2 million non-smokers' lives are lost to second-hand exposure. According to the World Health Organization, in 2020, 22.3% of the global population used tobacco. To address what WHO calls the tobacco epidemic, member states adopted a framework convention on tobacco control in 2003, currently ratified by 182 countries. Many have heard about harmful effects of tobacco on the body, but now environment lovers are getting in on the No Tobacco campaign because of the environment. Yes, according to WHO, there's one more reason to quit. About 3.5 million hectares of land are destroyed for tobacco growing each year. Manufacturing cigarettes takes about 600 million trees, emits 84 million tons of carbon dioxide, and consumes 22 billion tons of water. That's apart from the fact that nicotine in tobacco is highly addictive, and tobacco use is a major risk factor for cardiovascular disease and many other debilitating health conditions. My guest is a consultant psychiatrist and medical director, CEO of Pinnacle Medical Services, Dr. Maimuna Kadiri. I almost feel like saying drum roll. Welcome to the show. It's been a long time since I saw you.
Yes, off the show, yeah.
Oh, yes.
No,
oh,
being
yes.
here, we've been doing a lot of online
talking.
Presently, yeah.
So tell me, what's the implication of all these chopped trees, carbon emissions, and billions of tons of water? Wow.
Is it 2 billion or 20 billion? I think it's 20 billion of water used for. That means 3.7 liters of water is needed for just one cigarette.
Wow.
And you and I, as an adult, we need 3 liters of water per day. So that means to even make one cigarette, we need more than what an average adult should consume a day. So the cultivation, the production, the distribution, the consumption, even the post-consumer waste of tobacco making is disastrous to the planet. That's why the theme for the year is poisonous to the planet. And of course, when we have a poisonous or unhealthy planet, human beings become unhealthy because they are, at risk of various diseases, and of course that means we are less productive, and then that means, there's so many sequelae that comes.
That the very air we breathe is not as good as it
84 billion of carbon dioxide is emitted into the airspace. So air pollution, what does that mean? That means the greenhouse gases are increased, and tobacco has at least 3 out of the 5 greenhouse gases, which are the water vapor, nitrous acid, methane, and carbon dioxide. And that leads to greenhouse effect we are all talking about. Now, climate change is a major issue. Climate comes with poverty, comes with, food scarcity, comes with environmental degradation. There's deforestation, which is a major cause of greenhouse effect.
That is such a pain to me. 600 million trees. I didn't even know we had that many trees.
Exactly. So you can imagine, I know we're talking about deforestation, not afforestation. This is because a lot of trees are cut down, but not grown back. So if all these things are happening, with the trees cutting down, with the emission of carbon dioxide, with, water scarcity at the end of the day, talk about the SDG goals. So that's tobacco has a major effect on human beings, on this planet, and that is something we just need to talk about. But the truth is that, are we ready for that hard conversation?
Does it affect the soil?
Everything, from cultivation to production to distribution, it affects, because it affects the soil, it affects our beaches.
So it's cutting our food.
Exactly. Food scarcity, water pollution, so many things that comes from tobacco. And for every stick of tobacco, it has over 7,000 chemicals. And it can expose an individual to over 250 types of diseases. And there are about 40 or a bit different types of cancers that are associated with just smoking. Do you know the bad thing about tobacco again? You know that cigarette butt?
Yes.
People, you can't smoke everything.
Yes.
It's the most littered item in the whole world.
Wow, that's what they mean by saying even the trash of it is causing a problem.
The e-cigarettes, whatever they throw away, it causes consumer waste. So the other cigarette, but you see it everywhere, and sometimes in neighborhoods where you send children to go and buy a cigarette and all that, some children, out of curiosity, that's where they start
pick up those butts.
Exactly.
I have seen that happen.
To start thinking, okay, what is this
Let's look at what it feels like, and that's bad for their health. Wow.
So, and you talked about the secondhand smoking and how it affects people. So sometimes it's not you, oh, I don't like smokers, but are you in the
vicinity?
Smokers? Are you in a relationship with a smoker? Do you live in the same household with a smoker? So, because secondhand smoking is as bad as you that smoke, especially on children, because children have smaller frame, they are still growing, and they breathe in air faster than you and I.
Yes, that's right.
And so, because of that, they can easily be exposed to respiratory tract diseases, pneumonia, you know. And this cancer thing is not about just adults. There's so much that comes with just cigarette smoking.
Concerning children, and this is not about them breathing in secondhand smoke, there's another problem, but I want to understand it properly. They say there's a lot of child labor in cigarette cultivation, and there's something called the green tobacco sickness. Can you enlighten us?
So you see, there's a huge human, I'm not a lawyer, but the truth is that there's a huge human rights uproar when it comes to that child labor, because they work long hours, they are not well paid, quite a number of them are not in school, or the education level is very poor amongst them, you know, they're exposed to so many diseases, you know, that nicotine poisoning, which is also known as the green tobacco sickness, is so huge among. They're the ones that plant the seed. They're the ones that will weed. They're the ones that will cultivate. They're the ones that would, you know, get the tobacco out. They're the ones that will be in the factories. They're the ones that will be exposed to all the, you know, occupational health hazards.
So does it pass through their skin?
Yeah, it affects them. They inhale it. They are there in the farm. And let's not talk about the machines they use. Some of them are not as advanced as it is. So you see them toiling, walking, and, you know, it's so common among the migrants because they are not really, you know, in quote, you are
legal
not,
in the land.
You are not legal. So anything that comes, you do that. So that child labor is such a big mess. And, you know, and we're talking about that nicotine poisoning here. Nicotine is the addictive substance that comes with tobacco. And, you know, the truth about it is that it can be addictive. It can be poisonous. It can lead to cancer. So there's so much that comes with it that when you talk about green tobacco sickness, is real. And I keep going back to the question. This is a hard conversation we need to have.
It's a tough conversation.
Very.
Because we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar business.
No, billion. Trillion. They have the power. They have the money. They have the resources. So you have to have everything as a regulator to fight them.
At the end of the day, let's say the regulators win the fight and there's a lot less tobacco being smoked and produced and everything. What happens to all the people who have lost jobs?
Alternative. No. They should. What we are even advocating now is not just about, you know, the tobacco challenges. Why can't you also support them? Because now they are doing green sustainability. Because they want, everybody's talking about sustainability, so people recycling and all that, they are pumping in a lot of money to support them.
The tobacco guys are trying to
clean up, because they have to clean up their mess, right? But the truth is that when it comes to this tobacco issue, we also have to talk about the fact that it's affecting each and every one of us directly and indirectly. So if regulators win, what can we do? Those people may lose their job, but the alternative to green tobacco, the other cash crops, there are so many things that they can grow, which also, look at with COVID, those that were producing a certain kind of drink started producing sanitizers.
That's right.
So there are alternatives. So we can't just sit and keep quiet and say there are no alternatives. There are alternatives if only we can have that conversation.
But it is a hard conversation.
It is, but we need to have it because now it's not only affecting individuals, it's affecting the environment, it's affecting the planet, it's affecting everybody. So that's why all hands on deck. It's not about I don't smoke, I don't care about smokers. Smokers will die, it doesn't concern me. It's affecting you even if you are not smoking. It's affecting what you eat. It's affecting the people that are going to produce what you eat. It's affecting the money in the circulation.
It's affecting your cultivable land.
Exactly.
Okay. let's go to the health implications for those who actually take it. How about if somebody says, I don't smoke, I just chew?
You think so? You think it's only for smoke? Even chew is even worse because it's going dirty. So, you know, when you smoke or chew, right, in seconds, it gets into the lungs. Within 10 seconds, it gets into the lungs.
There are these ones that they say are not as dangerous. E-smoking, then those ones they put in
it's an alternative.
pipes.
See, the thing is, they just said they removed the nicotine thing because nicotine is the most addictive
substance.
So they're like trying to say other things are there. Where it's like the cannabis. So 9-tetrahydrocannabinoid is the addictive substance in cannabis. So people are saying cannabinoid oil and all those kind of. So the truth is that those things are still there. Let's not forget we are unique. Our brains are unique. Everybody is made wonderfully and fearfully in image of God. And the truth is that everybody, we have all unique brain. So if you think maybe you, no, this doesn't affect, you don't know what happened to your brain. You are not in control. So the thing is that even if they take away those addictive substances, a cigarette has over 7,000 chemicals.
Okay, that's true. I was just coming to that. You take away the nicotine.
What about the other chemicals?
The carcinogens are still there.
So yes. Those are the health implications are so much. If within 10 seconds, this nicotine gets into the lungs, the thing is that it goes to increase some chemicals in the brain, which we call dopamine and epinephrine or non-adrenaline. What is dopamine made for in the brain? For motivation, for movement, for emotion, for pleasure. That's why when people take it, it's like, good. I feel good kind of thing. Epinephrine or adrenaline will increase your heart rate, pulse rate and all that.
So you feel more alive.
Energized. So you see people will not keep chasing the high.
Okay.
And that's where the problem is. You never get that high again because the brain has already configured. So you keep chasing the high. There's that thing that it gave me and all that.
And each time you need a higher high.
And with time, that dopamine, which is for pleasure, the feeling of pleasure, it decreases. People, with depletion of dopamine in the brain, you become unhappy. And that's why we now have this anxiety, the depression that comes in. So with time, people start hearing voices, and then they become what we call psychotic, and they start having mental illnesses.
So perhaps we can call it a slow and fast
poison. Slow and fast. I think
slow
I like
and fast poison. Because it's poisoning in different areas.
And it takes time. It's not an event, it's a process. And because it's culturally accepted, you see, when people are smoking, people will not look at them in any which way.
Yes.
They're like, oh, it's just smoking cigarette. Hey, it's not just smoking cigarette. It's slow, poisonous, not only to the planet, to the body, health hazard,
and to your
complications, and to your friends as second-hand smokers.
Let's take a break. We're taking a break right now. Please stick with us. We're coming soon. Welcome back. We're talking about quitting tobacco, quitting smoking and chewing, So the number to call is 0808-054-2233. It should be showing on your screen. Tweet at CTV_Mary A, or write email moalale@channelstv.com. Dr. Memuna Kadiri is in the house. Let's say we know that there are quite a few people who they thought it was fun at first. They got into smoking, and now they want to quit. First of all, people are running away from the smell.
Yeah.
Then they find out that they are hooked. They can't do anything without smoking. They want to quit, but they don't know where to go. They don't know who to talk to. Give them some advice.
I love the fact that people, when they realize that they need to quit, either for their own benefit, maybe health-wise, or some social economic reasons or religious, whatever it is, right? Or even to help the people around you. But the truth is that mindset, first, which you have made, that I want to quit. So who do you go to? The first group of people are your trusted family, friends, and people around you that are trusted, that will not discourage you. Because it's one thing to say I want to quit, and then you're not say, what are you talking about?
Nah, you try to quit those 5 other times.
You'll be trying to quit. The truth is that people try to quit on their own, but they can't do it on their own, because once they try to quit, withdrawal symptoms come in, and then the best treatment for that is go back and take another one. So when trying to quit, just get a professional, and the best group of people to help you, take care of that are mental health professionals. mental professionals, we're talking about the psychiatrists, the psychologists, you know, the whole team. And in trying to get away from that withdrawal symptom, be treated in a protected environment where they can help you medically, you know, take care of those withdrawal symptoms. So we call it medical detoxification.
Okay.
So your system is going to help, you know, help you get all those.
You make it easier on the
and
system.
Withdraw those toxic substances in your system out. And then medically, when it's done, there are medications that we will give such people, and then you're now going to a full rehabilitation to be equipped with coping skills, because you're not going to change your friends drastically, you're not going to change your environment drastically.
If we have you, why do we need to change our friends?
But the truth is that, again, they're enablers.
Okay.
So you get out of the rehabilitation, you get to the same environment, the same friends.
And they say, hey, we're not seeing you in a while.
Exactly.
Come and take one on me.
And let's not forget there's a lot of stress. So smoking is also associated with a lot of stress. If you don't know your triggers, if you can't, managing stress is a mental skill. And with smoking, it reduces that mental capacity for you to be able to deal with stress. And the easiest
Let me just cut you there and quickly take this call from John. Hello, John. Are you with us now?
I have a question to ask.
Right,
I have an experience abroad. Can you hear me? They legalize nicotine, as in, what do you call it, Indian hemp, overseas. What about that? Is there any health implication if Nigeria decides to legalize nicotine here in Nigeria? That's the question I want to ask. Is it the same thing like the same thing with nicotine? As in Indian hemp, our own balance.
Okay.
That's the question.
If I'm getting you right, he's asking, what if they legalize nicotine, and then something about them legalizing Indian hemp abroad?
Yes, there are places in US, Canada, different part of
but it's a type of Indian hemp.
Exactly. So let's not jump into, we already have enough issues in Nigeria. That is, legalizing that is not going to help to deal with the situation we already have. Like I said, to an extent, it's culturally accepted. So even if you're smoking marijuana and people, maybe it's a different type that doesn't have that smell, people will still assume it's
a cigarette.
And so legalizing it is not the way to go. It's how to get people how to manage their stress level, how to know their triggers, how to put things in an environment that will help each and every one. If people are empowered, there's employment, poverty rate is reduced, you know, government policies are in tandem with our current realities. A lot of things that people, even if you're taking it for fun, it may take years before you start having issues. Well, that's why I said our brains are unique. So legalizing it, it comes with a lot of legal documentation.
So really the stakes are higher now. Yeah. It's not just you or your family, it's also everybody else on the planet. Now, I love to hear about what happens to a person when he quits. What are the immediate and long-term benefits of quitting?
It's such a lovely thing to know that when you quit, within 20 minutes, just within 20 minutes, blood pressure, heart rate, you know, stabilizes within 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
And, you know, blood circulation improves. That's 20 minutes. In 8 hours, the nicotine and carbon dioxide in your system reduces by half. In 8 hours. In 12 hours, the carbon dioxide in the system normalizes. In 24 hours, the carbon dioxide is expelled from the system. In 48 hours, nicotine is expelled.
Wow.
In 72 hours, so you see how it is building. In 72 hours, you find out that I think the nicotine is, it's also the nicotine, or no, there's improved energy level because there's improved blood circulation. So this is just in hours, not to talk about in weeks. Lung functioning becomes better. In months, because of improved blood circulation, it reduces the wrinkles.
Oh, yes.
And by the time we're going into years...
They wrinkle when they smoke. I noticed that.
Exactly. By the time we're going to year, coronary heart disease, you are half at risk of somebody who smokes. In 5 years, cancer of the lungs, mouth, esophagus, and all that is also reduced by half, like a smoker. In 10 years, you are at lower risk of having lung cancer. And in 15 years, you are as good as, you know, somebody at risk of somebody who is not smoking at all, that is exposed, that can have a cardiac or coronary heart disease. So imagine
let's quickly take Jika from Lagos. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay,
Go
great.
ahead.
So I wanted to ask, yeah. So I've had the guest on the it's nice. I appreciate. However, the issue of cigarette, yeah, because that the Nigerian government is making a whole lot of money in terms of.
Jika, you're breaking.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go on.
Yeah, okay. So as I was saying, I understand that the Nigerian government is making good sum of money in terms of cigarettes and the tobacco itself. So I was thinking, yeah, I think it's hard time. And they now have some other brands of tobacco cigarettes, which is your electronic cigarettes and all that. I think it's hard time Nigeria, the Nigerian government allows for this kind of type of tobacco to be introduced into the country. I think it will help to reduce the stem of the whole tobacco harm that it does to what do you call it, to the citizens who smoke it. Because
okay,
if you look at the tobacco itself, it's okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we'll have to cut you now because we're out of time. But I will let the doctor attend to that question.
Okay, no problem.
So it is a question. Is there an alternative?
The alternative, see, the truth is that when we're talking about tobacco, we're talking about the content. What are the alternatives? If you say e-cigarette is also there. Let's not forget. But if you are taking away the nicotine addictive substance, what about the other over 6,000?
The other carcinogens.
Yes.
So it really isn't an option.
Exactly.
But let me ask you this. When somebody quits, how long do the withdrawal symptoms last? How long do they have to hold on?
No, withdrawal symptoms is almost within the next 24 hours. The withdrawal symptoms comes almost immediately. But when you go through proper detoxification, within a week, 2 weeks, you are good.
Okay.
3 days, you are good. Let's say it's within 72 hours. Now functioning becomes, okay. So the truth is that it's just that those early hours is so hard.
Yes.
It's so hard.
That's why you need a doctor. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Dr. Memuna Kadiri. It's such a joy having you. And thank you, viewers, for being there and listening in. Have a wonderful day. I am Mary Alale Yusuf.